Before this.
Okay.
Before this. Like 2 months ago.
You were handsome, huh? Huh? Now.
About 2 months ago, I discovered a way to escape from the bow and arrow choke. You know, that I felt.
Oh, that I love it.
Yeah, I thought
Oh, this was me and him. Back
Wow.
then. He was handsome. Something happened along the way. The 4 kids killed him. But this is the problem. I sent to everybody in my family. I say, look, he looks the same about him. That's me and him. And they go, no, Renzo, you look the same.
So I asked everybody to choke, and I would
Stay in the
skate.
picture,
Choke,
just
skate.
come sit here with us.
Yeah. 1 second. Just it's 1 minute. And then, you know, I called Renzo and said, Sapo, come there. Go for the bow and arrow. And Sapo said, this is my submission. You know, I'm telling you, this is great. So he went for a session. He crushed my head so many times, like, you know, 15 times. Gabriel has all filmed, right? So I'm showing him the escape, showing him the escape. And, you know, as an old man with disc herniated, you know, me, you know,
See, this is the problem. I'm an old man. I saw him as a kid. How do I feel now?
Big crisis of my neck. So, Renzo comes to me and said, today we're going to award a black belt to one of our old friends. And 5 minutes ago, he almost got grounded for another 6 years because he comes to me and say, Luca, I need to show you something. And then, okay, do something
On
here.
your neck.
A cervical. He comes to a cervical on me this time. Can we ground him for another 5 years?
We should have hurt him. Come on, Alex.
Go.
Alex is the guy, when you guys watch Legacy, the documentary, Alex bought a camera at B&H. Was B&H?
Some other one, like from California.
He bought the camera back then. We didn't
Sam's.
have the money for the camera. He bought the camera. And everywhere we went, he filmed. Every training session, he filmed. And he followed us to Japan, Abu Dhabi, everywhere. He filmed the backstage, all the craziness. And when I talk, it was him filming. And I forgot about it, and he's getting everything. And he gave, how many hours you gave to getting?
Oh, like 50 hours.
At least 50 hours of footage that he following us. And he was always the one filming and doing the job.
And back then, probably a lot of the positions were.
You moved here in 95, huh?
Yeah,
96.
97.
Yeah, 90, 95, and 96
96.
in the middle.
When
you
I
know,
opened the school in 96, that's when he came.
Yeah, yeah. So I was training with Renzo's uncle first, and then when I came back to New York, there was no Jiu-Jitsu. And then his cousin said, no, you gotta train with Renzo. He's the best teacher in my family. I was like, Renzo, the guy who just fought like in the yeah. And then so we went to see Taktaro.
Yes.
So I've kind of like always had the story in the back of my head. We talked about Oleg a few times tonight, and I don't think a lot of people really know this story because it was really at that point in time, Renzo kicked Taktaro, he fell down, everyone went crazy, and now we're going back to the locker, right? But before this event, there was like a little incident that happened at the UFC where a manager raised a sign and said 3 Gracies one night. You know, I don't know if you remember
Mark
that, right?
Coleman.
Mark Coleman, you know, God bless him because
He just
recently-
won the. No, he's
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was his manager, you know.
Yeah, it was his manager, it wasn't him. So the story is, you know, I'm like kind of a new guy coming out from his uncle's place.
Very civilized.
Yeah. I'm hanging out with
Chinese,
Renzo.
coming from Hong Kong.
Kind of quiet, like, yeah, these are good guys, you know, we're very nice. Renzo's always, like, amazing guy. So now everyone's happy, you know, running into the locker, the whole train, except Renzo's at the back. And I'm kind of like behind Renzo, following along. Everyone goes into the locker room, you know, and usually in a fight you have two corners, red corner, blue corner. Everyone goes back into our corner. Renzo, at the end of the line, doesn't follow everyone. I'm behind him. He walks in, he turns into the other locker room, the opposing locker. See, nobody knows this really, except for the people in the locker and me, because I was behind him like,
He told me the other
where's
day.
he going? Where's he going? He walks right up to Mark Coleman, who was like a monster. I don't know if you ever seen him back then, and, you know, and he goes, 3 Gracies one night, I just finished. You ready to go?
I go to him and say, 3 Gracies in one night, huh?
With all the respect, Mark Coleman
What
was
about
like,
you begin with me?
yeah.
I can be the first one. Let's go to the
Yeah.
parking lot. We'll have some fun. Bring one of your friends. He can come with me. Then we finish. We come back. We have a beer.
And I'm sitting there waiting for every.
Look
I'm
at
looking
me.
at this guy. Like I'm waiting for every single one of these guys. It's like here. We're in. I don't know how to fight that much, but we gotta watch his back, you know. But I was like, where's everyone else? Where's
And this so he's stable, you know. I said, let's go.
But Coleman was very. He said, listen, that was my manager. But you know, I apologize. I don't mean any disrespect to you and your family. I fired the guy, and Renzo said, "Okay." And then he walked back to the locker room, and I was kind of like.
The other day, I went to sign autographs with him in a fair here in Long Island. So he comes over. He goes, "Do you remember when I having a beer with my friends and after a fight, an event? This skinny guy comes over and calls me to fight in the parking lot." I go, I say, I'll never go with this crazy guy in the parking lot.
The funny thing here, you know, a few years, like a couple years later, we were in Pride together. Renzo was fighting Pride, and he was fighting Pride, and we become super friends.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, Renzo was one of the corners of Kevin Randleman.
Yes.
You know, against Rampage Jackson.
Yes.
You know,
I was
so
on the corner.
you know, it was.
And you know how many times I took him in bed? Yeah.
What do you mean?
What I mean, I get to the place where the party is happening. He's sleeping on the counter. I come in, I look, I grab him, put in the cab, take him home, take his shoes, put him to sleep, go back.
Kevin Randall.
No, Coleman. So I ask him, you know how many times I take him back? He goes once. I say 3 times. He only remembers one. And I would come to the party, they go, Renzo, your friend. He was already out. I go, and I take him.
Big dude.
Yeah, very good guy.
Picture.
Yes.
Can
You
I just say?
finish
Can
the-
I just say one more
You
thing?
gotta finish the speech.
Okay, so that lesson from there was like when I was a blue belt then, and I had come from his uncle, and I looked at this guy and I said, "Man, this is a guy I can believe in, because whatever it is, he's like, okay, I'm going to face it head on." It was years and years later that I discovered, man, that wasn't that important. It was actually more you guys, and what he instilled in me. It's a belief in myself, and having a lot of guys like I see Andrew Owens, Black Rock, Luca, everyone has always contributed to helping me get to this point, which, you know, I'm a lot slower than all the other guys. I'm more
You're
a
not.
hobbyist, you know?
You're Chinese,
But-
you're perfectionist. You make things well. It's different.
But
Yes.
But I think the difference, and I was in Hong Kong for many years, and I have had the opportunity to train with other very good teams while I was there. But this Renzo Gracie team has always been my home. And I think for especially the white belts starting out and the people who are at blue belt and thinking like, oh, I'm never going to be a purple belt, maybe it's time to stop. Look, just don't stop. Because you're not doing this for this. You're doing this because of the people around you.
Woo!
And what it gives you. And that's all I have.